Hello, it's Gameli, RevitTools.com. So this is the continuation of creating a fire sprinkler system with Revit MEP 2012 from Autodesk. Alright, so this will be video number 3, and in the last lesson we already placed fire sprinklers, two types of fire sprinklers. The dark color is the fire sprinkler that is hosted into a surface. When you place it, it looks for a ceiling or a surface to be hosted on. So if there is no ceiling or surface, you cannot place this kind. And then in this room where we don't have a ceiling, we use this different kind, which is non-hosted fire sprinkler, and we center it and we place all over the place. In the previous exercise, actually, I placed on this stair area, and also in this room, which is the server room. I remove it because we will do a dry system for these two rooms, and the one we are working on right now is a wet system. Alright, so now we will connect these sprinklers. First we create a logical connection. So the software called logical system is an analytical system, an analytical connection that helps you to do the calculations of pressure, water, or flow. In this case, for these systems, if it's for another system like air conditioner, the analytical system helps you to also calculate velocity, or again air pressure, and any of the values that each system requires. The analytical system or analytical connection is just to create those calculations, and the physical connection will be the pipes that connect certain row or column of sprinklers, and it will have a main pipe and branches. That is the physical connection, physical system. So it's just good to understand the difference, logical system and physical system. So first let's zoom extend. You can right click in a blank area. If you don't touch any element, you could hit zoom to fit right here, but otherwise you could type ZF zoom to fit, and that will help you to do the operation. Now when you have already placed these fire sprinklers, if you go in the tab Analyze and you hit the system browser, by default it creates one logical system, which is the default logical system, because you haven't assigned a specific system those components which are the sprinkler. So by opening this button, system browser, I could see here in these tabs I could take a look of zones or systems. In this case I want systems, and right here I could take a look of all the disciplines. So it's showing me here mechanical, piping, electrical. Because we are working only on piping, I want to say show me only piping, I don't want to see mechanical. Now this button is to auto fit this value. So if I expand here, it says piping, and expand again, and fire protection. I'm going to make fit, auto fit this field. So click, so it show me there is a wet system, and if I say auto fit again, it will stretch this column. It's kind of nice. So far over here there is a zero piping system. We haven't created anything. And on assigned system we have all these sprinklers. They went to the default. Now in Revit MEP, when you select a component, like in this case these fire sprinklers, and you hit this button, it will say, in this case, create a system. When you hit that button, it gives you options here of how many systems you could create. All depends on these components, what possibilities they have. In this case, it's a fire sprinkler especially for wet systems, so the only parameters that it has is to be used for fire protection wet system. Let's say if it was an equipment of air conditioning, you will have possibilities of air return, air supply, and even if the equipment has an electrical connector, it will show here. All those systems are contained in that particular family. In this case, we have only wet fire protection wet system. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select half of these sprinklers in a window. Notice that it goes red here, but obviously I select many other objects that I don't want, so I hit filter and I say I don't want spaces, only sprinklers. Say OK. Now I have selected. Now I hit the button that I mentioned, and like I say, it's my only option at this point. And you could change the name fire protection wet 1, and maybe later I put fire protection wet system 2, wherever. If this system browser was closed, you could choose this, open in a system editor, and it will open this system browser. Okay, so now this is assigned to a system. So let's see what happened here. Remember this bottom, it was empty, it was 0. Now if I expand those plus signs, all these sprinklers, which are this half, are already assigned to this piping system, fire protection wet number 1. And this still remain unassigned. Now to verify something, I wanna touch one sprinkler. If I deselect the sprinkler, I put my mouse on tab and I hit tab, and I click after the tab. You see this red frame? It shows me which of those fire protection sprinklers are connected in one analytical system, in one logical system. Software call it logical system. If I hit in one of those tabs, nothing happened, because those are not assigned to any logical system. So that's one way to verify which objects belong to a logical system. And let's say you forgot to put one of these sprinklers. By selecting the system the way I did, I hit in tab, then click, you see these new buttons right here. So one will give me a chance to add equipment, and this to edit system. And one of the things that I could edit is, if I choose the plus sign, add to the system one more sprinkler, I could add it. Take a look how I added those two. That's why it removed the gray out. Now I change my mind, I want to remove some sprinklers. I don't want this, I don't want this. So I'm removing from this logical system. and to show you the difference, I'm going to keep those that I added and see what happened. I say finish. Now if I zoom out, if I zoom out and hit tab, now look, my red window, it grew over here. And look how this is kind of red square and this is not, because this is not part of the logical system. So again, I hit edit and I'm going to remove it again. I don't want really this for, it was just for showing what I was trying to prove here. So another thing is these properties. These properties is, remember, they are over here. If I turn it on and off, if you hit these properties, you could change some of the parameters that we created earlier. This is for the whole system, and right here, for instance, you could change the name. So there is some parameters that we could edit here. I'm not going to change nothing, and I'm not going to select equipment yet. So finish. That's the logical system still. So I'm going to hit tab. Okay. So that's what I want to see right now. I remove the other objects that I was selecting just to show my point. Now let's create the physical system, which will be the pipe. So before we do that, let's verify some of the settings that we created earlier in this tutorial. Remember, here in Manage, MEP, Mechanical Settings, under Pipe Conversion, that means what we are going to do right now is going to use this value. So for my main pipe in wet dry, is going to use this pipe, fire protection wet, and it will be 9 foot above floor. And for my branch, again in the wet system, will be fire protection wet and 9 foot above. And let's go to main, but now dry. Main dry should say dry here and 9 foot, and branch dry should say dry and 9 foot. So I say cancel because I didn't make any change, I was just verifying. Okay, so I will hit tab on top of one of the sprinklers. So I'm selecting my whole system. Now I'm going to say I want to create a layout of my piping. So this icon has 2 icons. So now it gives me all these options right here, new tools. Again, I could add or remove more sprinklers, and now I'm going to place what is called a base, and I'm going to put it here. Basically, this base is like an outlet. You see how instantly it connects like a main pipe to this main branch. Basically, it's like separating this part of the system, and this is an outlet where the whole thing begins. And maybe when I create another portion of the building, I might use another base, and especially for a large building, this thing will help you to separate by areas when you are designing. So for now, this whole system could be calculated, and it assumes that begins from here, and we will see more about it later on. Okay, so now notice that it's suggesting certain way to put my pipings. The blue is the main branches, the main line, and the green is like smaller branches. And okay, so now another thing you should know is that this option you could change from one to another one. So if I hit the solution button, it brings to this window where my first four options are in a network style, I would say. So if you hit this, look how it changed. However, it still is in network style. And my settings, we already did those settings, so you could verify again here. So I have four options. Now if I switch to perimeter style, I have four more options, and notice that this perimeter style. And if I go to intersection style, is another four options. For this exercise, I will choose number 1, network. In fact, for this exercise, I should use number 4. So number 4 is select. So I'm going to use this option. Actually, it's 2 of 4. So if you hit edit, it gave me that message because I clicked before. But anyways, so when you click on edit, you have the option to touch one of these elements, and actually I'm dragging my system. As you see, I could drag and let it go where I want, and obviously it will have some limitations on how far I could go, but I want to show that the possibility of what we are doing here. In this case, obviously this doesn't work that far. I wonder if it let me correct it, and probably if I drag it and align it, it will do it better job. So this is an engineering decision that I'm not a mechanical engineer, so I'm not qualified to do a good job selecting where to locate this, but the capability of the software is the only thing I could tell you. Notice that at the end it has these possibilities. Obviously you want to do something that makes sense, so I'm showing you the points that are flexible. In this case the end again, and I'm going to align it, or the whole branch, or the whole main, and when it aligns to the branch, it also do some kind of simplify the connection. So I think that's the tools I want to show in this exercise. I want to hit finish, and when you hit finish, it will create with those settings those piping. So if I use the detail view right here and the shaded view, notice that now we can see is pipes. And obviously if we go to 3D, we have, I'm going to put detail view and shaded, and obviously we have the building there, but this is what we have so far. And it came from first an analytical system, and now this is the physical system. I'm going to redo it again to do exactly what the tutorial I should do. So again, I will select tab, I will select the system, generate layout. In the solution, I have to place my base by the stairs, and I hit in solutions again. I want network number 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is more like what the tutorial wants. And in the tutorial, they made a minor adjustment here. So edit layout, they touch that and connect it here, and they do this. that's the change they made in the tutorial. So I think we made the point that what parts of the system you could adjust, and those are the points that are adjustable. So we don't need to put a lot of time on this. I guess you just need to click around and move it. I was going to straighten it out, but it's okay. So that's one of the changes they made. Another change, apparently they align this somehow. They align it to this main. Like this. So what happened is this was like extra pipe right here, didn't make sense, so they move it to be part of this branch. Now they move all this main branch outside those small rooms. So far it's close enough to what they did in the exercise, so let's hit finish again. So it's the same thing we did just a minute ago. So we got the pipes. Remember, if you have in medium detail, you don't get to see the three-dimensional pipe. You have to be in fine detail to see, and obviously in shade mode. Then I see the pipe. I like to see it in 3D. Now I'm going to add these two sprinklers from this one room. So this is the one was created by the system, the physical system, the auto route. Now I touch this elbow. I could do a lot of things. I could assign other type like PVC elbow or other families that I could load from different materials, but at this point I'm using just generic elbow. And if you click on the plus sign, then select it again, you see now I have a connector here. I right click on the connector, draw a pipe. Notice that this button is highlighted, is auto connect, automatical connect. Now I'm not clicking, I'm using my wheel to zoom out. Now I'm going to hold before I'm going to hit tab, the big keyboard, the tab, the long horizontal key, and that will create the possibility to do a line exactly like the one I use as the connector, in height and in diameter. So because I started from this connector, it will be just like these other mains. So if I hit now, I hold shift and I keep moving, when these lights blue, hidden blue, that means I'm right there aligned to this other sprinkler. So I click, even I'm outside, I'm not putting my mouse here, but because I have shift, I click, and then I let go the shift, and then move it to the sprinkler, and it's gonna grab the sprinkler. I click and I disconnect my command, and I take a look on 3D what happened there. And to view it, I could put detail view and shade it, and that's what it happened. But I still is using the size of the, when I put in hidden mode, because it works better. Notice that this is 6 inches and is using this half an inch, so I will change it to 6 inches also. And it looks more like those now, like a T. So I have my T. Okay, so I will close the 3D view. I have my T. I touch it. Now I have a connector here. Draw a pipe. Again, I hold Shift, so it's ortho, and one more ortho. And I don't wanna touch yet. Now I select the sprinkler, right click on top of the connector, draw a pipe, hit tab, so I grab the height of this, and now click on the other connector and this funky connection right here. So okay, now because this was lower, it did this crazy thing here. I don't have to have it crazy like this, so I'm going to select a window and delete, and I could actually delete this and delete this. As long as I have a piece of pipe here, I could do a trim command here, and again I could change that piece to be a 6 inches piece, and I have more like a, and if I need more I could put another T there. So I'm gonna close the 3D and take a quick look. So far we have this, and I'm gonna stop the video because it's getting too big. So this is video 3, RevitTools.com, and please sign up to be a user of my webpage. I will display only few videos in YouTube, and the majority will be only in my webpage. So you click on RevitTools.com, then in tutorials, and then when this page comes, click again on free tutorials. It will ask you to register. First it will give you the last 3 samples that I have, and if you want to see anything, you could be an existing login, password, or a new user. Type your first name, your last name, your email, and choose your country, submit, and you will get your username and password, and you could come back to this window again by clicking free tutorials. RevitTools.com.